welcome to day one of Free Framing Museum. We are delighted to welcome to the stage His Excellency Mohammed Khalifa Al Mubarak, Chairman of the Department of Culture and Tourism, Abu Dhabi.
Thank you very much. Thank you for the introduction. For all of you that are listening, thank you so much for your time. Assalamu alaikum. I hope all of you are in good health and more importantly, in good spirits. What a year. This has been a year that has really made us think, and more importantly, I think, made us come together. And throughout my talk today, I'll really talk about how it made the cultural world come together hand in hand, not only to strengthen our bonds and strengthen our partnerships, but more importantly, strengthen our future. And I think this is a defining year for the future of culture, the future of museums. And I think moving forward, we will not be able to do this without all of us doing it together. I would have loved for all of you to be here with us this year in Abu Dhabi, enjoying the beautiful weather in Abu Dhabi, nice sunshine, and enjoying the Louvre Abu Dhabi. And then for all of you to actually see the vision and the strategy that is we are trying to accomplish in Abu Dhabi and at Saadiyat. I wanted to start my welcome to all of you by basically, the usual, talking about what's expected from us in the ecosystem of culture that we all live within. But I wanted to start with you actually with a small story. When the pandemic first started, all of us, I'm sure, of in a gray world or even a dark world, where we saw our museums shut down, our cultural sites shut down. We were in our homes, not understanding this virus, what it means. And at one point, we came to the conclusion that we need to take this opportunity to take a step back and understand the situation we're in. And for the first time in a long time, truly understand how we're going to evolve as cultural sites, as museums, as, voicing and broadcasting our strategies and our visions to a brand new demographic, the youthful demographic. We are evolving into the museums and the culture of the 21st century. And now we have to do it a lot faster than we ever did. But the story I want to tell you is once the doors opened up to our beautiful museums here in Abu Dhabi, the first place I took my family, so I have 4 kids, two twin boys and 2 amazing girls. And, fortunately and unfortunately, the pandemic happened in the first year of my boy twins' lives. So they spent quite a lot of time at home. So that actual first visit outside the home was to the Louvre Abu Dhabi. And obviously I chose the Louvre Abu Dhabi, not only because I love the Louvre Abu Dhabi, and I think what it brings is something so important. But I really wanted that the first thing my boys see is these beautiful paintings on the wall, these beautiful artifacts from the history of our earth, our cultures, to see things for the first time and interact with them. And at the same time, having my girls as their guides. It was amazing to see. And I think we kind of sometimes take that for granted. And I think moments and times like this pandemic allows us to actually take a step back and appreciate these things. It was so beautiful for me to take a step back and see how my girls interacted with a Monet or a Matisse, or the way my boys looked confused when they saw some of these beautiful Roman and Greek statues. At the same time, it gave me an opportunity to actually just take a deep breath and truly enjoy what I'm looking at. And, this is the 3rd year of the Louvre, and it's a celebration for all of us. It's a celebration for the Louvre Abu Dhabi. It's a celebration for everybody who's intertwined in the world of culture. It's a celebration to my great team, from Manuel Rabate to the entire team who works at the Louvre Abu Dhabi for making this dream a reality. But more importantly, it's a celebration of universality. And, spending that time at the museum, at that first day, and I went early in the morning, it was fairly quiet, and I really took time to truly appreciate what I maybe have forgotten. how important the message that is coming out of the Louvre Abu Dhabi, and how important are these messages that are coming out of all our museums. We are educational centers, we are cultural centers. I think more importantly, we are changers of the mind. When we are showing youth or showing the first time visitors to the museums what it means to really understand each other, understand each other's cultures, each other's religions, it's a beautiful message that we have to play here. We're showing the beauty of our world for everybody to see, and we're opening our doors for everybody. You know, we are not closed institutions. By all means, we are open institutions. And in this day and age, this is all really what we need. So I just wanted to give you that small story. I wish I can share with you some of the pictures I took. I mean, the smiles of my kids enjoying the beautiful museum, pictures of me running around my two girls and trying to stop them from touching paintings. So that was quite fun, but it was an amazing achievement. Leading on to that, you know, many of you have been to Abu Dhabi and many of you have not, and I hope you find time to visit. You know, right now there is light in the end of the tunnel. I'm really excited for that. All of us are seeing the breakthroughs in medicine, and you know, in no time, I hope we will forget this pandemic ever happened. Forget the negatives of the pandemic. But let's never forget the positives that it made us rethink how we need to be connected. It made us rethink how we need to all be partners. We are not in this alone. And I remember when the pandemic first started, you know, some of the first things we did was not just look within, but to look outwards. And we contacted our partners, all of them. We contacted the Hermitage, we contacted the Louvre Paris, we contacted the British Museum, we contacted Guggenheim, we contacted other museums, locally, regionally, and internationally. And we said, how are we going to do this together? How are we going to find solutions to open up these fantastic institutions to the world? And it was amazing, you know, bouncing ideas off each other, talking about, well, how are we going to be doing exhibitions moving forward? How are we going to keep our staff safe? How are we going to keep our visitors safe? How are we going to keep this openness that we have? It's embedded into our DNA. That we should never forget, in good times and in bad times. Like I said, we are one, and we are one voice. We're all together going to broadcast the importance of culture, because in my opinion, culture is the most important backbone to any society. And we are the mausoleums of these societies. In Abu Dhabi itself, we are truly banking on culture as an integral part of our future. So as you know, the Louvre Abu Dhabi, 3 years in its existence, a lot has accomplished in 3 years. We continue to strengthen our collection. We continue to strengthen our publication and our educational and research and development arms. And we continue to grow this museum. It's still really in its infancy, but we're growing quickly and we're maturing quickly. And we're learning from all of you and all our partners. But our strategy, specifically on culture and specifically when we talk about Saadiyat, does not start and end with the Louvre. A lot is happening as we speak. And with a blink of an eye, you're going to see its maturity happen. Today, we have our Zayed National Museum under construction, and very soon it's going to come to fruition. This is a museum that's going to tell our people and the people of the world about this beautiful history of this land and how it has always been a connecting point between East and West. It will talk about how the words acceptance have always been in our DNA, not something that just has come up recently. On that same island, we will start very soon the Guggenheim Abu Dhabi, which is basically a museum that will showcase the contemporary art and the modern art of the world, all on equal pedestal. We're going to have some of the most amazing art coming out of Africa, coming out of Southeast Asia, coming out of Asia, Eastern Europe, North America, South America. But it's going to be all put in together, really together. It's not going to be basically regional by all means. It's just going to showcase art and its sheer beauty and how it's all defined within each other. Another great project we have, maybe it's not necessarily a cultural project, but it's one of the most important interfaith projects, is also have started work on the island, which is the Abrahamic Family House. At the same time, we have just started 2 new projects on the island, 2 new museums that will completely complete the entire 360 cycle of culture, where it's history, it's modernity, and it's the future. And we believe through that voice that you will take in Saadiyat, keeping my fingers crossed, is that when we're all said and done, you as a person will come out a little bit different, and with the hope a little bit better, with a little bit more understanding of what it truly means to be a human being. That's really our vision when we talk about our Abu Dhabi cultural strategy. It is reminding people of what it means to basically listen to each other. It's reminding people on how your culture, your art, your history is just as important as mine. And instead of attacking it, let's learn from it and let's come together with it. This is what it's all about, ladies and gentlemen. I didn't want to get philosophical, but sitting this morning thinking about what I was going to talk about, I could not help but think of really my first visit out of my home when we started opening up after the pandemic, and when I visited the Louvre Abu Dhabi, and there was this push of energy and hope and love and interest and curiosity all intertwined in one. That's what we give people, ladies and gentlemen. That tool is so important. Let's never forget that. And I want to thank all of you, because 2020 has been a challenging year. But at the same time, it's a year that's really showcased the strength of one being us together. And we've all worked diligently to help each other. We've worked diligently to find solutions for each other. And it's been beautiful to see. And there was a fear in the beginning of the pandemic that culture will take a step back. I think for all the work that all of you have done, the work that we have done, we've made sure that culture sits right in the front of anybody's agenda. And I think if we keep doing this ourselves, and we keep pushing our messages, and we keep doing it together, there's only upside for us. So thank you very much. This is our purpose, and I hope to see you all very soon. And I hope to see you at the Louvre, Abu Dhabi, very soon. And I hope to enjoy your company very soon. So again, be safe and be happy and be healthy. Thank you very much.
And now we're delighted to welcome to the stage Mariette Westerman, Vice Chancellor of New York University, Abu Dhabi, and Manuel Khabate, Director of Louvre Abu Dhabi.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman Mohammed Al-Mubarak, for your welcoming remarks and for the extraordinary support from the Department of Culture and Tourism. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, and welcome to Reframing Museums. My name is Mariette Westerman, and I'm the Vice Chancellor of New York University, Abu Dhabi. Our university is delighted to co-host this symposium with the Louvre Abu Dhabi, our nearby neighbor here in the UAE. In 2010, NYU Abu Dhabi hosted a symposium called Art Museums Here and Now. We did that even though we had yet to open our campus later that year. And the planning for major new museums in Abu Dhabi had only just begun. The Louvre Abu Dhabi, the Sheikh Zayed National Museum, and the Guggenheim Abu Dhabi. Given the aspirations of these museums that would be joining our university here on Saadiyat Island in Abu Dhabi, we wanted to invite local stakeholders as well as the global museum community to ask what art museums might be in the UAE. We encouraged our speakers from around the world to consider how they would rethink museums if you could build them from the ground up, as was happening here. We challenged local cultural organizations and well-established museums from around the globe to think about what museums are for, which really meant asking who they are for. Our symposium back then surveyed museums of different shapes, sizes, histories, localities, and missions, and then put the public relevance of museums under the loop. Their value to cities, to countries, and to the human community. We asked what value museums offer in the age of the internet and of burgeoning social media, and how museums could mobilize those technologies to their ends. It was a clarifying symposium in many ways. 10 years later, these questions are just as alive, but we gather under different stars. The pandemic is profoundly challenging the viability of museums as anchors for civil society. Museums, after all, rely fundamentally on the ability to gather people in large numbers in physical locations to encounter objects that take up three-dimensional space, whether they are works of art, natural specimens, or historical documents. Roaming freely through spaces full of astounding human creations, that is the museum's special thrill. Now, theaters or musical venues today have similar problems, but they have greater flexibility to meet their audiences online. Museums are programming the virtual space too, but without their collections and exhibitions, without their buildings and sites, and without their ability to bring people together to experience their objects of fascination, it is hard for museums to retain or to grow their audiences, to engage schools and user communities, to conserve objects or generate new knowledge about them. It is nearly impossible for them now to stage the community events that we love them for, that bring people together around artifacts to learn and to be diverted, to be confronted with the marvels of the planet and the ingenuity of humanity over thousands of years. That is what museums do. And as their on-site options have shrunk, their business models are under duress. Yet there is hope, as there is a lot that we can do together and learn from each other. 10 years ago, art museums here and now almost didn't happen. We were ready to start on April 18, and 3 days before, on April 15, Europe began to close its airspace as a volcano with a very long name in Iceland began to shroud the continent in ash. Fortunately, most of our speakers wended their way here somehow with great determination, and I am thrilled that several of these veterans are here with us the next few days. Looking back on that tense moment, I find it heartening that just a decade ago, we could not have saved that symposium by gathering online as we will today. The human suffering caused by the pandemic has brought untold heartache. And yet humanity is showing its resilience too, particularly in the way that families and communities, businesses and social enterprises, and cultural and educational institutions are deploying every tool imaginable to maintain connection and pick up our work in virtual space. It is in that spirit that Manuel Rabaté, director of the Louvre Abu Dhabi, and I decided that we would see through this symposium that we had long planned to have with all of you here in Abu Dhabi. The urgency of our moment gives museums an opportunity to reframe what they do and why with new clarity. They are institutions of great longevity, and they have overcome many crises precisely because humans value them. Over the next 3 days, our symposium will discuss the three major pillars that have traditionally supported museums: collections, buildings and sites, and people. Although the architectural metaphor of pillars seemed apt to us, we do not think of them as unwavering or unchanging supports. Collections, buildings, and people are dynamic fields of action that constitute a museum at any one time, in any one place. And each field implies the others. Collections, for example, were once the foundational principle of museums. The 19th and 20th centuries, you could say, were the age of collection building. This century will be the one of collection sharing. And what is in those collections, or in the temporary versions of collections that we call exhibitions, that has always been about people. People who made the things in them, who sold, used, cherished, damaged, or even lost them. People who preserved them in their storerooms and stories. People who create museums to do the preserving and the storytelling for and with them. And how collections are preserved, interpreted, and shared, that depends a lot on the sites that museums want to be, physically and virtually. All of these questions are ultimately about what and who museums are for. While in the past, museums might have been treasure houses used primarily by people with a certain expertise or level of education, today many museums see themselves as sites that bring people together, where all people should be able to have a say about what a museum means to them. Opening up the expert museum in this way has not been easy, but it is happening. And with it has come the realization that no object and no one museum tells just one story. It is a great honor for NYU Abu Dhabi to co-host this symposium with the Louvre Abu Dhabi. Our institutions are both dedicated to the preservation, transmission, and the celebration of knowledge and truth. The Louvre Abu Dhabi has given fresh meaning to the idea of a universal museum. As a university, we share the museum's commitment to the universality of knowledge. That universality does not mean that humans are all the same and institutions are all the same. On the contrary, the universal in human experience is one of difference. And that diversity sometimes divides us, but it is also our great strength. Museums bring forth the richness of the human story through human objects, and they harbor the potential for anyone to learn from them. I want to thank Manuel and his great team at the Louvre Abu Dhabi and our joint organizing committee, also at NYU Abu Dhabi, led by Anais Zaguer, Salwa Mikdadi, and Alia Al-Shamsi. Their names stand for dozens at NYU Abu Dhabi and the Louvre Abu Dhabi who kept us moving forward nimbly. And we are very grateful to all of them for their creativity and strength. And we especially thank all of the amazing keynote speakers, moderators, and panelists for sharing so generously of their time, their thoughts, and their wisdom. We encourage all of you to use the symposium platform to engage with each other through all the affordances of Zoom and the special symposium website. Our registration quickly filled to the maximum of 1,000 in Zoom, but all of our keynotes, panels, and reflections will be on YouTube within a few hours for you to engage with and enjoy. And in the days ahead, we will seek your feedback as well, as we intend fully to build on this community to reframe museums together going forward. This symposium is already enjoying resonance from Abu Dhabi to Amsterdam, from London to Los Angeles, from Dakar to Delhi, from Sydney to Shanghai. With our collective resolve around the world, the sun will not set on this symposium, and it won't set on museums either. Welcome.
Thank you so much, Mariette. My name is Manuel Rabaté, and I'm the director of this wonderful museum, Louvre Abu Dhabi. It's a pleasure and an honor to host you today. I wanted to thank everyone from Abu Dhabi and from around the world. First, I thank the Department of Culture and Tourism Abu Dhabi and our chairman, His Excellency Mohamed Khalifa Al Mubarak, who just gave us this inspirational speech and vision. I want to thank with a lot of emotion our co-organizer and co-host, New York University Abu Dhabi, and my dear friend, the Vice-Chancellor Mariette Westermann, for this project which started like a neighborly encounters and which is now this international symposium. I want to thank our partners, our Culture Connect, and Anais Zaguer, and all the teams who made this digital event possible. and particularly in Louvre Abu Dhabi team, Alia Al-Shamsi and Sarah Al-Mahmoud, who have been working night and day on that. I want to thank the curatorial committee of the symposium, which has been also instrumental in moving the concepts around. Anaïs Aguer, in New York University, Abu Dhabi, Maya Allison and Salwa Megdadi have been instrumental with the help of Reinberg Falkenburg and Robert Partisius from day one. On Louvre Abu Dhabi side, Noémie Dossé, Rosemary Mousseau, Souria Noujaim and Alia Al-Shamsi have also helped framing this discussion. I want to thank, of course, all the speakers from all over the world who accepted to be with us during these 3 days. And I want to thank, on our behalf, our media partners, the Art Paper, Sky News Arabia, Al Etihad, and The National. A series of questions can be asked. Why are we doing this? What was the starting point? Mariette mentioned it. It is the 10th anniversary of this very important seminal moment, creating New York University Abu Dhabi. It is also, for Louvre Abu Dhabi, the 3rd anniversary of this very young first universal museum of the Arab world, designed by Jean Nouvel and open to the public since November 2017. But it is also the mark of what we have accomplished in Abu Dhabi, on Saadiyat Island, physically here, over a decade. We think, in the team which has been organizing this event, that museums form the bedrock of culture, arguably of our societies. But the pandemic has exposed many vulnerabilities. So today is a moment to have a series of relevant discussions. Why here? Why in Abu Dhabi? Why in Saadiyat? We think that Abu Dhabi's continuing commitment to champion art and culture give us this edge, this capacity to gather this discussion. Abu Dhabi's values of openness, innovation, creativity, and cooperation allows us the opportunities to carry out initiatives such as this symposium. Very soon, around us, in the same space, we will have the Zayed National Museum, the Guggenheim Abu Dhabi, and the Abrahamic Family House as fellow neighbors institutions joining us on Saadiyat Cultural District. Over 190 countries are represented in the population of Abu Dhabi. Louvre Abu Dhabi and New York University Abu Dhabi represent two neighbors, two institutions that are a few minutes away, that are crossroads for the sharing knowledge from scholars and academics. Both institutions share this passion for transmission, for education, for transformation. Collaborative and innovative research, discovery, feeding curiosity are at the heart of what we do for our local communities and what we seek to offer to the wider world. We have both local roots and global reach, which is why we are inviting the world back. We were tempted at one point to cancel or adjourn this symposium, which was already getting started, confronted to the pandemic. But we chose together to go forward and to play on the virtual, to use it as an opportunity, maybe to gather more voices than the one we already had gathered in our discussions. It also opened us a new methodology, a new way of preparing a symposium. In October, we hosted, NYUAD and LAD hosted a workshop entitled Unframed Voices, inviting artists and curators nominated by the guest speakers from, they had to choose outside of their institution and outside of their countries, to bring these other voices who would share with us what are the issues they would like to be addressed in the symposium. And we were able to fit that into the discussion and to the speakers. We have used what could have been a challenge in order to create more space for more voices. What's on the menu? The next 3 days, we'll see over 60 speakers from across the globe gather for roundtable discussions, presentation of case studies, and ongoing dialogue. through breakout rooms, networking session, and continuing small group discussion in what we call the Virtual World Cafe. We were very grateful and honored to have the first inspirational moment on speech and vision by our chairman, His Excellency Mohamed Khalifa Al-Mubarak, to open the symposium. This afternoon, in a few hours, we will hear from Quain Anthony Appiah, Professor of Philosophy and Law at New York University and NYU-AD. And today, the closing remark will be given as a keynote by Jean-Luc Martinez, President Director of the Louvre in Paris. Of course, dear to us and to this institution, who will invite us to rethink the imaginary museum. In the coming 2 days, you will also hear keynote speeches from Her Excellency Noura Al-Kadhimi, Minister of Culture and Youth of the UAE, the historian and philosopher Christophe Pomian, Sandra Jackson-Dumont, the director of the Lucca Museum of Narrative Art, and the Emirati poet and film director Nujum Al-Khanen. I will not, even if I'm tempted to mention all the people who, with friendship, with generosity, accepted to join us, but I thank them again. And Mariette mentioned that we have already filled our 1,000 participant slots which were available for the symposium, but don't worry, you will have access. They will be able to interact, but the people who couldn't register will be able to access to the content. We have 65 countries represented among the attendees, the one who registered, from New Zealand to Kazakhstan, Oman to Brazil, China to the USA, France a little bit. We are grateful so many of you will be joining from around the world and from different time zones, which is part of the challenges of the organization. All the session will be made available through reframingmuseum.ae and through the Reframing Museum YouTube channel. So if you cannot attend, please know that this discussion will be made available a little bit later, and we hope the program of these 3 days will be fruitful and indeed lay a foundation for future models to be explored. We don't think that these 3 days will close the conversation. They will open them, they will welcome them. The time for this point of inquiry is now. And we are all the more prepared to talk on the challenges currently facing us, collectively. We want to do that with you, the public, attending from near or from far, and we hope you will be with us and you will share this reframing the museum experience with us. Thank you so much.